got a Ninja Speedi cooker, and it's developed a problem with the pot sensor. As you can see on the display, it's saying pot, so it can't sense that the pot is in there. Now I think that's quite a common problem with these things. I've seen on YouTube various videos, and I've seen the actual switch that they've used, and I don't think it's a very good type. I'm surprised they've used that type of switch. I'm not surprised that it's prone to failure. Let me open this up. So it can't sense this pot being inside, and what should happen is when the pot's in place, it pushes this plunger down and that makes contacts inside close, and obviously then senses the pot. But for some reason this has failed. I don't know why. This isn't very old, it's not had any liquid spill in there. I'm assuming it's just dirty contacts, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to open it up and have a look, hopefully just clean it and get it working again. So that's the end of this bit. I'll get myself ready, get all the tools ready, and then I'll continue with the video. Okay, so I've repaired the switch on this device, and because I wasn't sure exactly how to take it apart, I didn't know what I needed to take apart to get to the switch. I haven't filmed that. I thought I might as well take it apart, learn how to do it, and then I'll show you what I did, which is what I'm going to do now. So the first thing you need to do is take these 6 Torx screws out. Now they're actually security Torx screws. You probably can't see that, but with the security screws there's a little pin in the centre which stops you putting a Torx bit, this is a T15, in, unless you've got the security bits which have a hole in which goes over the pin. Now I don't have these security bits, so it's quite easy to defeat that little pin. So all you need to do, get a screwdriver and you can force it to one side, force it back again, and it will probably snap. You might need to do it a couple of times, it will come out. Obviously it's easy if you've got the bits, the proper bits, but if you don't, that's a way to get around that. It's a bit annoying really. I find it annoying to have these security things on. If I want to get in, I'll get in. Anyway, that's what I did there. So I undid the 6 screws, and this is the switch that is causing the problems. This is the pot detection switch, and it's not easy to get to that. In fact, that's not the switch, that's just the contacts. The switch is on the other side, which I'll show you in a minute. Now what you have to do, I will rotate that in a little while to show you, but you have to unscrew these 4 screws, one there, I left that one out, one there, and that one's out as well. So those 4 screws you have to take out, and then the big issue, this is the element which is on the other side, and I've cut these wires. Now that one and that one, the reason I had to do that was there is no slack on those wires, and I need to be able to push that through. I'll show you in a minute. The only way to do that, I don't think it's possible to disconnect them from wherever they go in there, and this, it's not, I think it comes with the element and you crimp it around the wire, and it's not, I thought initially I'd be able to pull that off, but you can't. So I thought, okay, the easiest thing to do is cut the wires, and then I shall join them later. What I'm actually going to do, rather than crimp them, I'm just going to use some chop block, because I thought if I have to do repairs to this, which again it's far easier just to undo that. So these will just sit in here, and that one in there like that. Okay, so what you need to do then is, as I say, undo these 4 screws, and this is an earth wire. I need to undo that one as well, so let's do all of this now. Get the right screwdriver, shall we? reason we're undoing these earth wires is, as with these wires, I need to push that through the hole. And I also need to push, these are actually the wires that come off of a sensor on the other side, and again they need to push through. Now luckily these ones, I can pull them out there and that will give me enough slack to push through. So we'll take the rest of these screws out. Be careful not to drop them as I did earlier into there, because they're a pain to get out. It's magnetic, that screw, oh good. It was this one I dropped and it was a blooming pain to get out again. Okay, so once those screws are out, so I cut these wires as I say, and then remove that, make some slack on that. I'm going to turn this over so you can see what I'm doing in here. I think we'll move the camera down. See if I can get that. Yeah, there we go. So what you need to do now is lift this out, and then you will see those are the two wires that I cut, and these are the wires that I've made slack on. You can put it like that. This is the switch. It's a really poor design, so it pushes down like that, and then that part engages on these two pins here. Why they didn't put a proper micro switch in there instead of that, I don't know. Now this was, as I expected it to be, very clean. It wasn't dirty, and these weren't dirty either, so that wasn't my problem. I think what the problem was, there's a spring in there, was that this one here, this part, was getting stuck. So what I did, I undid that, and then the spring will come out like that. And then you've got this other piece here which actually makes the contact, and I think, as I say, that was perfectly clean and that's clean. So I think what was happening was that was just not, it was probably getting stuck maybe like that at an angle, and it wasn't making contact with that. So I just put some oil on that, and that is a lot freer than it was. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn the video off for this in a minute, because again there's no point in just you watching me put this back together, but I'm going to put this back together now. This is freed up. So if this was dirty, in fact I need to make sure there's no oil on that, but if this is dirty on your one, give it a clean, scrape it off. You can use a little bit of sandpaper perhaps, make sure these are clean, but I think make sure that is free. So I'm going to put this back together and then I'll show you how you can test it. That'll be the next part of the video. So I've reassembled everything now apart from this back cover. Put my earth connectors back on there. I've put these wires back round through there. I've used the chock block connectors on these wires, the ones that I had to cut to feed these through. In fact, I just realised there's something I haven't done. There are some shrouds that need to go on there and on there, so I'll take those off in a minute and put the shrouds on. This is the switch. I don't know if I mentioned that in the previous videos, but what you can do to test it, and I could have shown you this maybe in an earlier video, but if you put a multimeter on there with continuity, if I push down, it's making the switch lift off and it's breaking the switch. So really what I want is when I push down, if I then waggle that switch, I want it to stay beeping, stay continuity. Okay, so on and off. And I'm obviously simulating the pot being in the machine. So I'm pretty confident that that has fixed my problem. Obviously I need to put it all back together and then just give it a try, but that's how I tackled the problem, and hope someone will find that useful. So this is the time to give it a proper test. We'll see if it actually works now. Everything's back together, the pot's inside. Turn it on. It's working. That's the real test. If I do that now, which I certainly couldn't do before, it's stable. So I think we're good. Yeah, so I think that proves then it was just the switch that was sticking and a little bit of oil, and for now at least it's working. If it fails again, then I'll have to have a look at something else, but I think that will work okay from now on. I'm pretty confident with that.